What are you after?
Well, it's funny because there's also this very cool Discord. I don't know if you know Discord, but it's like a community where people gather and post things and whatever. There's a very cool Discord of a small community. Actually started there's a guy in Australia who started it, but we all kick around ideas back and forth and discuss topics. And I posed the other day, like, do we all just want to feel better, or are we really looking to get to our true nature and understand the truth? You know, frankly, um, I'm beyond, like, I just want to feel better. I still get depression. I still feel like there are times where I'm sort of like, what am I doing? You know, um, I still, struggle with periods of time where I'm, you know, uh, where it overwhelms me, and so, do so I'm sort of looking to go beyond that. And I will admit too, I sort of wonder, am I waiting for that big moment or not? Or have I had it? Am I having it? I mean, in a lot of ways, I sort of feel like I'm already awakening in the process thereof. So, but then again, it's new to me, so I'm not sure, like, am I, where am I in this process? I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but
It does. Let me just put my headphones in.
yeah, go ahead. This calls for headphones.
Easier to hear
It's all right.
you. Okay, so you mentioned true nature. What does that say about current?
I'm sorry, what does that say about?
Current nature.
Oh, um, well, I feel like my I mean, I feel like I'm discovering my true nature. I feel like um there's
Yeah,
something.
but hold on. Yeah, but who or what is it that's discovering their true nature?
Right. Yeah, that's where I get, like, kind of flummoxed, where I'm sort of like, who or what is, I like.
Yeah, I understand, but like we don't realize, yeah. If we're trying to discover our true nature, then current nature can't be true.
Right.
Then we'd have to go, okay, what's this current nature? What's this idea of current nature that I have, that I believe now needs to discover its true nature? Can't be false. If there's a true nature to be discovered, current nature must be false. That's why we call it true nature. Yeah.
Right.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah. So you know, try and look, Lee. Try not to make the mistake that most people make, including myself. Try not to make the mistake of trying to discover what your true nature is, because that's trying to discover what its true nature is false, is not true.
Right.
Right? So now we've got to, right, instead of going looking for true nature, yeah, what we need to do is focus on this apparent false nature. That's trying to find its true nature. If there's a true nature to be found that's trying to discover it is false. Otherwise, there'd be no wanting to discover a true nature. Why? If you're already true natured as such, there'd be nothing to discover, would there? There'd be nothing to go looking for.
Right.
Right. So, good. So it's only an idea that current nature is apparently real. And that current nature we would ordinarily call Lee. In this case, we would call it Lee, me, the person that's trying to discover my true nature.
Right.
That's kind of a bit weird if you think about it. Yeah? Yeah.
Right.
So let's drop this idea of discovering true nature, or let's drop this idea of discovering non-dual, yeah, and let's look at the other end of the stick. This stick's got two ends. I'm going to call one non-dual, and I'm going to call the other dual, because all of the problems that arise for you are dualistic. Every single solitary problem that arises is dualistic by nature. Dualistic. Yeah. For example, there's Lee who sometimes experiences depression. Two, Lee and depression. Two. Dualistic. Yeah, dualistic. We even believe that we were born and one day we will die. Dualistic. And then there's everything else that happens between those apparent points of birth and death. It's all the other duality that happens between those points. Yeah. So what needs to be understood is duality, not non-duality. Non-duality cannot be understood. It cannot. You'll hear teachers say that. There's nothing you can say about it. As soon as you open your mouth to go and verbalize anything about the non-dual, as soon as anything comes out of your mouth, it's not true. It's not it. No matter what it is that comes out of here, it's not it. So how about we, let's not do that. Yeah. And let's focus on what the problem is. The apparent problem. And the apparent problem is we believe we're an individual that has free will, that exists in time, that has a body and a mind. Yeah? The person has a body and a mind. Yeah? And apparently that same person is the thinker as well. Now, if you've done some meditation, you will understand that thoughts just happen. Yeah?
Right.
That's why we're doing the meditation, isn't it? To try and slow the thoughts down. Now, if you were the thinker, there'd be no need for meditation. You could just say right here, right now, you know what? For the next couple of days, I'm just not going to think. Just going to have a rest. No thoughts. There's going to be zero thoughts because, after all, I'm the thinker. Right? And what do we discover? Holy shit. Thoughts happen. Even if I try to outthink thoughts, even if I make an effort to choose not to think, using thoughts to try and do that. Do you understand? Yeah. So the problem's not, oh, I can't find duality. The problem is that believes it needs to discover and find duality. That's the problem. Namely, and we call that me. Me. I've been on this path and I'm looking at this and I'm looking at that. Read a heap of books and done a heap of satsangs. That character, that apparent character. Right. Yeah. Like you said at the beginning of this, yeah. That me character can't see, hear, taste, touch, or smell. Right. It's not conscious and it's not aware. Now, to know that to be a fact, you have to know what the me character is. Before you could know that, for that statement to be fact, that the me character can't see, hear, taste, touch, or smell. To know that, you have to know what the me character is. Now, my question to you would be, what is it?
Right. And that again, going from, like I said, I've got that memorized, see, hear, taste, touch, smell, not conscious, not aware. The me character.
Yeah,
I've studied my Terry.
yeah.
And that is something that is born from, toddler, from when we learn language, when we learned, this identity and heard stories and heard, the mind did the work of whatever it did to absorb all of these symbols and understand the world in its way and put together this story of this me character, which is named Lee, which was raised and was, as a mother and a father and brothers, and went on about life and so on, and came here uh to this point, to a place where all of a sudden there's this opening where, wait a minute, that's just not all me, or is not, that's not who I am. And it's a little scary. I mean, it's certainly weird, you know. um
Well, yeah, because what you're being asked to do is to look in a different way, a very different way. You're being encouraged to look differently to the way we normally look. Yeah. So, let's just assume for a moment that non-duality could be discovered. Yeah. Where would you be when it was discovered?
where would I be? I'd be
Yeah.
here.
Right.
I,
Seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, and smelling. Conscious and aware, correct?
right.
Good. Is the me character conscious and aware, seeing, hearing, touching, and smelling?
The me character is not.
Good. Then here it is. We're
Right.
finished.
Right.
We're actually finished.
Right.
Now, if you haven't fully come to see that the me character is not real, then we're not finished. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
Right.
But the reality is, yeah, this me character gets developed by thoughts. It's a character. It's a story about a me.
Right.
It's just a story. And you're aware of that story, correct?
Right.
Good. Is the story aware of this that's aware of the story?
Is the story aware of this that's aware of the story? Well, yeah, I kind of, that's where I
Do you
get
know
kind
what
of like,
well, let's have a look. Yeah. You're conscious right now. Yep.
right.
Good. You know what it's like to be conscious, right?
Right.
Good. Now just flip that. Is the mind conscious of this that's conscious of the mind? You know what it's like to be conscious.
Right. Is the
Flip it.
mind conscious of this that is conscious?
That's of this that is conscious of the mind.
Well, I'm kind of straining. I mean, I'm like hanging along with you, but I feel like I'm
Okay, that's okay. That's
losing my
okay.
grip.
That's okay. Look, that's okay. How many points of consciousness do you experience?
I think one.
Well, yeah, one, right?
Right.
Yeah. And you're conscious right here, right now, correct?
Right.
Good. Is the mind conscious of this that's conscious of the mind? You know what it's like to be conscious.
Right. Yeah, then it is.
So the mind is conscious of this that's conscious of the mind.
Right.
Now you'd have 2 points of consciousness.
Right.
Here, right? That's conscious
Right.
of the mind. And
Right.
and now apparently the mind that's also conscious and conscious of this here that's conscious of it. Try and imagine that.
Right.
You said before there's 1 point of consciousness
Right.
that arises right here, right now, here,
Right.
here. Now I'm asking you to feel that. Is the mind conscious of this that's conscious of the mind? Look, just look.
Is the mind that's
Just look.
conscious?
Is the mind conscious of this here, this now, here? Is the mind conscious of this here now that's conscious of the mind? You know what it's like to be conscious of the mind. You know what it's like to be conscious of your hand. You know what it's like to be conscious of the laptop in front of you. You know what it's like to be conscious of the floor, the seat that you're sitting on. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You could use the aware if you like. Yeah. Now, is the mind conscious or aware of this that's conscious or aware of the mind?
Yes.
So now you've got 2 points of consciousness.
Right.
Does that sound right?
That
How many points of
sounds
consciousness do you experience?
so that's 2 points of consciousness then.
Right. Good. Now, how many points of consciousness do you actually experience?
Well, then I experience 2.
Do you?
I'm asking a question. I'm
Well, but I'm asking you because you're having the experience.
I know. And I'm
You're
and I'm
having the
answering
experience.
and I mean I'm answering with a question because I'm kind of confused in a way, you know.
I know. Look, but look, it's just indicating that you're not as conscious as you might perhaps believe you are.